Was hat der da gemacht eigentlich? Ich habe ehrlich gesagt überhaupt keine Ahnung. Das ist find my laptop. Yeah, there we go. Ups. Bitte gerne. Nee, ich glaube, das braucht man nicht. Ich weiß nicht, ob das braucht. Nein, er hat sein eigenes da drüben stehen. Ah, okay. Das haben wir nicht hinpasst. Das ist sehr cool. Hallo. Freut mich, dass so viel gekommen sind zum heutigen Kotlin-Spezialabend der eChuck. Was haben wir heute vor? Ultimate Kotlin Workshop 2 vom Christoph, den ich gerade, gib mal die Hand. Ja, ganz gerne. Und der Eugene ist da, der sitzt gleich daneben. Und damit wir uns alle auch ordentlich verstehen, vor allem der Livestream, den wir heute zum ersten Mal haben. Geht das jetzt? Okay. Würde ich vorschlagen, wir ändern die Sprache mal auf Englisch, damit uns da der Eugene folgen kann, was wir heute vorhaben. So, I'm happy that you all are here today. Eugene, hello. We switched just to English so that everyone can follow along. What you're gonna do today is we're gonna have the Ultimate Kotlin workshop. Then we got a 30-minute break where we do a raffle. We got 2 conference tickets for the Dev1 Linz happening next month. And the guys from Catalyst, Harry and his team, prepared some snacks for us in the kitchen. So huge thanks and great. And right after the break, we're gonna do the Kotlin DSLs in 42 minutes presented by Eugene. Our upcoming events are on the 26th of April at Smarter E-Commerce, which happen to be around just somewhere over there. It's going to be Josh Long from Pivotal presenting on Cloud Native Java and Beautiful testing. This is going to be this very same day that Dev1 is happening, so it's going to be some sort of after party just after the Dev1 conference. For the raffle, please, we got some. There are, I guess, 2 early bird tickets left, so if you want to grab one of those, make sure you do it fast. Huge thanks to our sponsors Oracle, and of course Catalyst, who are hosting this meetup today. That's it from my side. I hand over to Harry, who's going to tell you something about the Catalyst.
Oh, Mikrofon. Test 1, 2. Soll ich es mal raufklipsen? So viel wollte ich gar nicht sagen, dass sich das rentiert. Weil dann geht es gleich spannend weiter. Also es ist für uns eine Premiere, weil es ist die erste öffentliche Veranstaltung. Wir haben das Büro letzte Woche mit einem Soft-Opening eröffnet, wo wir 2 interne Veranstaltungen gehabt haben. Seit dieser Woche haben wir es besiedelt und ihr seid sozusagen das erste Publikum, das die Räumlichkeiten hier genießen dürft und hoffentlich aber auch nicht zum letzten Mal. Das Büro ist so neu, dass ich an der Stelle gleich eine Warnung aussprechen muss. Wir sind noch nicht ganz fertig und bitte niemand darf auf diese Stromschiene greifen, die da oben vorbeigeht. Die ist noch nicht abgedeckt. Gerade die hintere Reihe, da ist man sehr gefährdet. Also bitte greifst da nicht drauf. Da kommt noch Abdeckung, die haben wir leider nicht mehr rechtzeitig geliefert gekriegt. Wir haben eine Vieh, es passiert nichts Schlimmes, aber kurz tut's weh. Genau. Dann, das war es auch schon wieder. Alles andere ist, glaube ich, weniger gefährlich. Vielleicht auch noch wichtig, Toiletten sind da hinten links im Eck, falls dann später eine Pause wer braucht. Und wir freuen uns recht herzlich, dass wir euch in der Pause dann auch kurz mit Snacks und Getränken versorgen dürfen und hoffen, dass ihr das Ganze darin genießt und dass die Themen recht spannend sind. Die nächste Chance, dass ihr uns wieder besuchen könnt in einer öffentlichen Veranstaltung, wird die lange Nacht der Forschung sein, wo wir gemeinsam mit der Tabakfabrik da herinnen Austragungsstätte sind und halt auch spannende Themen präsentieren werden. Und wir hoffen, dass wir vielleicht eChuck, vielleicht ähnliche Veranstaltungen in Zukunft öfter hier hosten können werden. Speziell im Sommer, glaube ich, ist dann attraktiv, wenn wir den Außenbereich auch ein bisschen mitnutzen können für hinterher. Also es wird sicher nicht das letzte Mal gewesen sein. Danke sehr.
Wo schiebe ich das rein? Okay, passt. Thank you, sir. So we got a screen here that's nice, and it's mirrored. That's even nicer. So let's. No, you shall not see this one here. Sorry. So, Ultimate Kotlin workshop. My name is Christoph Pickler. Hi, everybody. It's nice that there are so many people. I like that. Community is important, and I like it that Christoph invited me. I'm actually from Vienna. Shall say something about myself in a minute. So this is going to be a Kotlin workshop. It's actually not a workshop. It used to be a workshop, but I'm going to do it as a demo. So you don't need any laptop or anything. So it's kind of, I will do the work and you just watch, kind of. So about me. I'm the founder of the Kotlin Vienna user group. There used to be another guy, and he moved to Tirol, so it's just me only. And I also founded, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, the Java student user group. So I used to be a very nerdy Java geek. Now I'm kind of Kotlin geek. But for me, it was always important that we somehow group together, and we all believe in something, and we need to, like, spread the word and just get together. And therefore, I like it that I'm from Vienna, and Christoph just invited me to get over here. He's like doing his Java thing. I'm doing nowadays my Kotlin thing, but still we can exchange each other. And I even recently had a talk about Kotlin at Scala. That was interesting. Scala guys, like. And I'm like, Kotlin, fuck. Still we managed to somehow exchange, and it was really nice. They believe in their God, I believe in my God, but still there's no reason to fight, like, you're doing your stuff, it's nice. I don't get it. Like, Scala tutorial, yeah, that's nice. Third page, what's that? Fourth page, I'm out. I don't get it. So, blah, 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 I'm working at some big, stupid bank for George, whatever. And I don't want the best Java. That's not my point here. Because I really love it. I used to be in love with it. It's like that language for me. It's high abstract. I don't want to know about metal, about memory and CPU. I don't care about that stuff. It's just want to solve problems on a very high abstract level with a nice language. And Java used to be such a language, but then something else came. It's like my old girlfriend. I don't want to talk bad about her. She's a nice person, but we just don't. Fuck. She's too old. And nowadays I got a younger. Okay. Anyways, so I believe in Kotlin. That's like my thing. That's the reason why I'm here. I don't want to sell you anything. It's just like, give it a look. There are some nice things, and there are also some downsides. You must be aware of that. And there are a lot of JVM languages out there, and I don't want to get into details about what Kotlin exactly is, and JetBrains, and the downsides and the advantages, and whatever. I want to do it more like a practical thing. So no theory, no slides, or this is the only slides I've got. And I'm going to show you a minimalistic RPC over HTTP, also called REST application. There is that one team member of mine. He always complains that when we say we do a REST application, he says that's not RESTful, like HTML and with the state driven by the server. I don't get it really, but I think I got his point that when we say we do REST, what we actually do is RPC. So. Now I want to know something about you. So who of you is a developer and uses Java at the moment? Who of you is not a developer here? OK, interesting. It might be a little bit much now, but stay with me. Who of you is using Spring? That's like half of you. That's nice. Who have you ever heard of Kotlin? Oh, that's like all of you. That's so nice. That's a great note. OK. Who of you have even written Kotlin? That's pretty good. OK. So there will be something new for most of you, or at least half of you. So let's get it on. And this is a link where I will publish all the code and the slides. And I've got my cheat sheet because I'm afraid that, I don't know how this works. So you can also download this one here. So let's give it a try. Usually, if I would have internet access, I even didn't try it because I think it would fail anyway. So there is this nice site called Start.Spring.io, where you just hit like whatever you want for build system, Maven or Gradle, Kotlin or Java or Groovy. And lately they released version 2.00 for Spring Boot. So if you hit generate project, what it will do, it will download a zip file containing a skeleton of basic Gradle setup. So first thing what I do, because I don't know why, but the Spring guys, they usually deliver outdated stuff. So I'm going to upgrade Gradle, and I'm going to upgrade Kotlin. Oh fuck, I should not say that at this Jürgen guys. Is he already here? I think it's here, right? Fuck. Okay. I've got so much Spring bashing and Java bashing in here. I'm totally, completely politically incorrect. Yeah. So there's this nice thing called ID on the command line. Did you know that? Who of you knew that? That's like, I don't know, it's somehow cool. You just say, there's this directory, so please IntelliJ. No, okay. Maybe let's close this one. It used to work. And don't open the other. Okay, now let's give it a try. It used to, okay, I will restart it. Maybe it will work then. What it does, it's kind of create a new project with existing source. But you can do it via the command line. And you know, like command line is way better when you do it via the command line. Just because. No, it won't work. So we do it the old way. We create a new project, empty project, because I want to just Ultimate 2. Yes, please. No, no. Fuck, sorry. Okay, now it's completely broken. Is anyone from JetBrains here? Is it allowed to bash JetBrains and IntelliJ now? Okay, let's do it another way around. I will just open an existing project and import the module. I wanted to give you a very clean, like, show you that everything is created from scratch, but seems that's not that easy. So we'll just open an existing project and import the module. You know, it used to work today, just some hours ago. So it's ultimate foo, right? Yes. So it's a Gradle project. Yeah, defaults are okay. Never mind the little yellow pop-up over there. You didn't see that. That's for another project. You didn't see that. So now it does its job. So let's have a look at what Spring created here for us. So we all know Gradle, yes? We use Maven, yes? We use Ant. Okay. I won't say anything here. So some Gradle magic. Usually you just go to Stack Overflow like most of our time and copy and paste stuff, and magically it works. So there's the build script, specify some versions, where do you get your plugins for the build script, and like Maven plugins, dependencies over here. We use Kotlin and Kotlin Spring. We don't use Eclipse. What? So we don't want to have this here. Anyone of you is using Eclipse? I shall not bash Eclipse. I'm sorry for that. So yeah, so the defaults Java 8, this JSR 305 is something about the new standardized null annotation. So there are type systems out there who are not aware of null. So Java, for example. So they have those annotations, and they somehow magically can infer that this might be null where not null is expected, and so therefore some magical tool will, you know. And some languages like Kotlin, they know the type system itself, it knows Java, and so they are able to somehow bridge those two worlds, and that's quite nice. And with some default dependencies, Spring Boot, we use some JDK bridge thing, some reflection thing. Those are dangerous. The JetBrains company, they did a lot of things in that area, and all the time it broke, and Gradle came with its own Kotlin library, and it was outdated with the other one, and nothing worked anymore, and they're changing the package names or something like that, and it's just, yeah. But still, it's nice. So that's that one here. So what else did he create for us? Some test things, some resources. The test is actually just starting up the application, see if the application context starts up. The application itself, it's just a class annotated with something, and then say run application. That's already Kotlin stuff here. For some reason, the sources are not downloaded. I'm sorry for that. So with the latest Spring 5 version, the Spring guys introduced a lot of Kotlin-specific stuff. So that might be a sign that Kotlin might be a next cool thing. Speaking of, I gave it a try. I'm not sure which project it was. I think this one here. Gradle, you write in Groovy, right? We know Groovy. Yes? No? I don't, and somehow I don't like it. And there's the possibility to write your Gradle scripts in Kotlin. That's plain Kotlin. But the thing is, it's very, from my point of view, I didn't get it to work. I saw some issues and there's some solutions, but for some reason they didn't work. So this should be not red here, but for some reason it doesn't work. So in the future, it will be possible to write your Gradle scripts with Kotlin, and that's nice. You can write your JavaScript with Kotlin. You can write your JVM things with Kotlin. You can write your native things, so iOS and all that stuff in Kotlin. You can write anything with Kotlin already, almost. We're near there. So anyway, Spring Boot application, just an annotation with a bunch of another annotations, which does a lot of magic, like Spring is always doing a lot of magic, which is good most of the time. It does this component scan, so you don't have to do anything anymore. And I shall close this one here. And like this is the configuration of the application. It's so nice. So I can start this one here up, and it will just start up and then immediately shut down because there's nothing to do. So therefore, the first thing we will do is we will tell the Spring Boot guy that we actually want to be a web application, or whatever it's called nowadays. I don't get it. So we just say you're a Spring Boot start the web. So let's see if this even works. Yes, Spring Boot version 2, nice and shiny, and it closes down because there's nothing to do. So let's do something. Let's write some little ping pong game here. I shall not use too many shortcuts because otherwise you won't be able to follow me, I guess. So I will try to use more of the mouse. For the first time, you shall use the mouse and not shall use shortcuts. It's so nice. I'm good at this. No, you know, we are good developers, right? We do TDD. Yes, we do. I pretend I do, at least. like pair programming. Usually it's me sitting on a computer and writing, and the other one is just listening, and and then it's his turn. He's writing, he's doing, and I'm just losing what he's doing. That's the way I do pair programming. So it's a ping test. That's the class. Let's make it bigger here, and let's get rid of this stuff. I just hit escape, if you didn't realize that. Shift escape, sorry, to get those thingies here away. So we run with Spring really likes JUnit, therefore we are stuck with JUnit. I personally would prefer testng, but the tool support is not that great, therefore I prefer, I need to use JUnit here. And the nice thing with the recent Spring version, they support JUnit 5, Jupyter, or whatever, why it's called Jupyter, why can't we just say with JUnit 5? And there are a lot of nice things in that area too, but I don't have any experience with that, so you can look it up on the internet. So I'm going to add something which might look weird, but I want to tell Spring Boot that please just pick some random number because that should also run on a build server, so I can't possibly tell you what port number we will use. And this is all, everything is now set up for me, so I can just go here inside my test. I've got the application context available, so I say, oh, that might be new for some of you guys here. What's that? Private late init var. Late init is a hack, in my opinion, because there is like a change of paradigm with nullability, and as a consequence, the frameworks used to inject values afterwards. So if I don't say late init, it tells me you want to have some value because it needs to be initialized, but it's initialized from some magic from outside. And therefore, I might do something like it's nullable, and that's terrible. I hate it. So, so they introduced something like late init. Please, Mr. Compiler, trust me, there will be someone else injecting a value which might not be null. So you're back to null pointer exceptions again. If the framework works, everything is nice. So usually in other frameworks, they do something like, oh yeah, it can leave it like, but the dependency injection like Java FX, Tornado FX is doing, and Android, they're doing the very same way. I don't know why Spring isn't doing it that way. Would be nice to see something like by Spring. Doesn't look at me. Okay. Anyways. So I'm going to write, oh, I've got this nice thing.
In services, you would do it via constructor injection.
Yes.
But it's not possible in tests.
In JUnit, it's not possible. Yes, true that. Yes. In production code, you usually don't see such a thing. Yes, you're right. Thank you for that. So when get ping, then pong, whatever. So backticks, that looks weird. Like I'm using spaces here. Because Kotlin says, yeah, an identifier that's a valid identifier, so just use spaces. You know, it's like some people do this camel casing here. That's like, I can't read that anymore. So very strict people do that. And then sometimes in Java, they do like this here. That's also, please. And then this one here is so nice. So I've got my REST template. I want to say, please exchange me something, and it will return a string. And this is going to be very messy here. That's like a lot of code to achieve only a little bit. And it will listen to /ping and build that. That's like a lot of pollution here. We will deal with that in a moment. So that's our response here. And I want to say that the response as a J will come transitively through Spring Boot magically, that my response body is equal to pong. Yeah, we can maybe also, that's not nice. You shall not do that, right? Status code value equals 200, because I've got 2 assertions in one test, so if it fails, and yeah, okay, I'm being pragmatic here. So we as good developers, we run the code for the test first, so it should fail. It should always first fail, right? Yes? Yes. That's good. I like to work with professionals, you know? Like, I can learn a lot from them. It's nice. So we had this one guy, we wanted to hire him. He was really good, but he didn't want to join our team because we were using all this Spring and Java framework stuff. It's just too slow for him. He was a JavaScript, Node.js developer. And no, don't laugh. I think the guys are great because they just hit start and in the background, paralyzed, just in the background doing their stuff, and it's just so lightning fast. And you know, I sit there, run my integration test, and get a cup of coffee, come back, and he compiled, get a cup of coffee, go back. Actually, I don't drink coffee. Anyways, so it just takes some time to start up that whole thing. So now we are going to implement our controller. I shall make that one bigger here. So it's a REST controller that's coming from Spring Boot, or Spring Web MVC, or Spring whatever. So, and it shall listen to the URL ping. And we've got a function. Oh, that's just because it's ping, and it will return pong. Oh, what's going on here? That's crazy. Where's the return type? And where are the curly braces? Yeah, we used to do something like this. Yeah, never mind the direction of where the return type is. It's front or back. It's just a matter of style. So we don't need to do this because, you know, like he already knows it. There's a string, so please, Mr. Compiler, you can infer that. Type inference is so nice. And if it's only a single expression, so just directly assign it, and everything else is just like pollution, so get rid of it. And we want to be more specific here. It will produce, is it text plain or plain text? I never get it. So if I run the test again, I just hit Command R. That's my shortcut to run tests. And it will be green. Nice. So commit and review and push and do the whole bureaucracy and stuff, and then bashing, blaming, and you did it wrong, and then, you know, like in a team of 6 people, it's always like, yeah, I like to have it this way, and I like to have it this way, and like 100 comments on GitHub, and I'm like, I just want to get this thing through. Reviews, code reviews are good, usually. In good teams, they are. We usually overdo it. So he's returning plain text here. I want him to return a nice, shiny JSON thing here, so we just do the usual thing, we copy and paste. When get a JSON ping, don't want to capitalize it, let's capitalize it. And we say, oh, see, we didn't specify a header here. It should be over here. Let's just add the accept header here. Text plain, right? Not plain text. And maybe do some line break arbitrarily somewhere. So now we want to have application JSON. Woo. Am I going too fast? Should I go faster? Oh, I will just stay with that speed. So the body shall be something. Oh, I'm using triple quotes here, so I can use single double quotes. So single double quotes without escaping them, and that's very practical. Yes, I'm doing something very nasty here. I'm doing a JSON comparison by string. That's very not nice thing to do, but it's just a demo, right? So if I run this test here, which is missing an N, it should fail, because we as professionals, we always first make our test fail. So yes, that's nice. And oh, actually, there's like Spring doing a lot of nice things out of the box. You see, like not acceptable for 6, because we wanted to have a representation of ping pong game in JSON, but we only can deliver this thing to you in plain text. So suddenly it craps out, and that's like I didn't do anything, but out of the magic, Spring is so great. I love it sometimes, most of the times. So if you know how it works, it's really awesome. Like with all the high sophisticated frameworks like Hibernate JPA, it's awesome if you know it. But if something just doesn't work, like with Maven, with all those things, yeah, you better know what you're doing. Or you know someone who knows what he's doing. Or you get another job. So I will, oh, what's that over here? I'm doing so crazy nice things here. That's a data class. Who of you is using Lombok? You should really use Lombok. Those guys who just raised their hands, who write Java, but didn't raise their hand when I ask you about Kotlin, you should also now raise your hand when it comes to Kotlin, or at least in a month or so, because Java with Lombok equals Kotlin, kind of. And they have got this annotation at data, which generates the toString equals hashcode thing, and does all this scatter setter things, and make your immutable thing, and like a lot of other things. Lombok used to be somehow, for me at least, magic, black magic, and don't do that, because that's you don't know what's happening in production, and I'm working for a bank. You don't want to, you know, that you transfer money and it's lost. I've used Lombok, now it's lost. That's not the way it works. So the nice thing with Kotlin. This is serious. This is not black magic anymore. I just say data class, and that's a constructor, and he's generating properties. So all these scatters and setters. Setters are bad. Mutable state is bad. Don't do it. Static is bad. There is no static, and actually Kotlin prefers immutability. Everything is final by default. You don't need to pollute your Java code and say final. I used to do that, and people said, you are crazy. Yes, I'm crazy, but the language, it sucks. I want to achieve something, but with the language, it's not easily possible. With Kotlin, it's just there. Awesome. So I'm getting off track here, sorry. So you don't need new. You don't need semicolons. You can write them. If I would have designed the language, I would have like, you shall not use them. If you do 2 statements in one line, you might do it, but that's also maybe not a nice thing to do. So if we run that again, the test, it should now be green. 1/3 is done, and we are good with time, I guess. Any questions so far? Please, anything. Maybe I'm even able to answer them. Only maybe. So that's a constructor here. And you initialize the property directly. You can use named parameters, named arguments. So if something like that's happening, and there's another string, and you know, and that's the bar thing here, and then afterwards some smart guy wants to sort it alphabetically, and we have got our tests, right? You can refactor whatever you want. That's the thing when people start to, some guy once called it, Java is a stringified language, because everything is string. Like string, boolean, string, int, string, rather than IBAN and account number type. Even though it's just a wrapper around string, maybe just give it some proper type, so the compiler with his type checking can, would be so nice. So we don't have this problem anymore with Kotlin because we can just say that's the message and that's foo. So you can do your crazy shit over here, I don't mind, because this down here, it's like just stable. So what about our tests? Oh, fucking initialization error. I think because I've renamed the test. No test found. Yeah, that's good. You are doing your job good. So we run this test again. It will be okay. Of course, if Jackson is configured differently, then it will blow up if there is white space. Therefore, I should somehow use JSON path or something more sophisticated. But oh no, it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Oh, yes, yeah. Go away. So, and I'm being a very pedantic person when it comes to log output, and you know, you've seen, maybe, who of you seen something nasty here? There's something nasty here. If you scroll through here, and yeah, that's nasty. That's really like, there's something yellow. I'm using this nice plugin called Grab Console. I know it shows up usually somewhere over, down, I don't know. To the right, yeah, thank you so much, Eagle Eye. So this icon here, it allows you to configure regular expressions, and based on that, he will colorize the background, so I can easily spot the ugly thing. So with the new Spring version, it's so awesome. He will somehow magically figures out that I should add this dependency because it's missing, because he knows that I'm doing something with JSON marshalling via Jackson, and I'm using Kotlin. Somehow he knows that, and then he says, hey, there's this like bridging small library from Kotlin to Jackson, and you should maybe use that because then you get some additional magic. So yeah, let's do that. That's really like the application itself helps me to fix stuff in my Gradle script. I mean, that's really awesome. I always love the error messages from Spring because they usually try to help you solve the actual problem. Not saying it's null. It's actually saying it's null, but it might be because of you haven't set that property. And it's like, oh yeah, it's actually the solution is right inside the exception message. So if we run this again, that warning should go away. And actually the log output is just too much. Like, I don't care about all this stuff. So, and I also don't like this banner. Yes, it's nice. Yes, it's fancy, but it annoys me. So I say banner, and there's this banner mode, and it says auto-completion properties. I would really love to see auto-completion for YAML, because YAML is like properties, but different. We need every 5 years something new. You know, like JavaScript, like every 5 weeks, it needs something new. So now that the yellow thing should have been gone away, yes, I don't see anything yellow in here. And I also want to change my logging root level to 1. And actually, I want only my stuff, which is in this package here. Nice name here. And it should be trace. So now the log output should be a little bit slimmer. So behind the scenes, there's something going on with how's the standard logging and this logback and all these guys going through SLF4J, and somehow we really reroute this and doing all the fancy stuff, because usually it's annoying. Everyone comes with its own logging implementation nowadays. And with SLF4J, there is some kind of standard, but still not everyone adheres to that standard. And Spring Boot is managing all this stuff for you, and that's really nice. So ping pong works. Let's continue with something more practical. Because I'm currently working at a bank, we will do something with accounts. All of us got an account, I guess. Otherwise, you won't survive in this world. So all your money belongs to me. We got another data class. It got an ID. OK, let's shorten that, and the balance. It will be an int, just for sake of it's, yeah, cents. Let's not call it cents. Yeah, I want to show you something. We will also say that, oh, come on. There's an account type. That's an enum. And you can have a current, a Giro account, or a saving account. It's called saving account, not savings account. I had this discussion with a business analyst about whether it's savings or saving account. It's always, we two fight about this. I don't have anything else to do at work. I'm working at a bank, come on. You just get a lot of money and doing nothing. there any one of you working for a bank? Fuck, I can't say anything anymore. There are no women in here, right? Böse. What did I do? Okay, I'm back here. So I'm going to write another test. And again, we do this Spring runner here. And it should be a Spring Boot test. Actually, let me just go to the ping tests here and copy this line because I'm just lazy. And the account controller test, thank you for this autocompletion. We again want to have our, by some magic, injected test REST template, which is basically an HTTP client. And we want to say get accounts, and it should then return 200 and an empty list. That's very not good testing, I know, but for the sake of demoing. So there's a request entity. We want to do a get. We again have this URI get accounts and say, no, it's inside here, maybe, yes, here it is. So it's complaining about it needs a type. It doesn't know what it should return. It will return a list of accounts. Yes, that's bad. In my test, I'm using production code. I know. Blame me. So this was weird. It showed an error, and I just didn't mention what I'm doing, and suddenly it goes away. So I want to just sell you something, and there are problems, and I don't talk about it. No, that's not the case. So what I'm doing here is there is something like extension functions. I know extension functions. Please raise your hands. So half of you. Extension function is synthetical sugar, basically. Instead of having these, good old string util, and you have your pad, and then you get the string you want to work upon, and then your stuff, whatever it is. And then somewhere you say there is this string thing, and you say string util dot do your stuff, put in the string and some other stuff. And that's not how my brain works. That's like I've got my thing, and on that thing I want to do something. What I'm doing here now with that kind of language construct, I'm doing like the other thing, it should work on my thing. That's not how my brain works. So what extension functions enables you is to say on that final class string, I want to put another method. And it's not black magic monkey patching like in Ruby. That's annoying, you shall not do that. But with Kotlin, you do it in a nice way. And there you can get your stuff. So this is actually how my brain works. I've got a string, and on the string, I've got my pad too. And like the things coming from the default implementation, like the actual implementation, and my stuff lives side by side from the original stuff. And so for me, autocompletion, and like there's string on string I want to pad. And not string util somewhere, like one of the 5,000 string utils, file utils out there. Like I've written dozens of them. And now that's so nice. Extension functions are nice. And Spring, because Spring guys, they know what they're doing because they are experts. They figured out Kotlin is a good thing. And so they introduced extension function on their stuff. Like that's awesome. They're not quite there yet. Because I can do it better. I will show you in a minute. So we want to assert that. Come on, Mr. Autocompletion. Oh. So response, the status code. Let's do it the nice way. Status code is equal to HTTP status. That's so fancy. And the body. And here you can see that the body he automatically knows that it's of a type list of accounts, because in here we passed it a list of accounts. And that's black magic. Because why? Type erasure. I know type erasure. You have studied, I like you. Because we wouldn't know what type erasure is without my studies. I didn't finish them. Who finished studies? So the compiler removes all the nice type information because Sun Microsystems, I guess, decided to be backwards compatible with Java 5. And so at compile time, there are no generics. Like C#, Microsoft did it the right way, or kind of better. Because the collection, it was just split. the non-generic old one and the new generic one. So therefore, at runtime, they have all the generic information available. So they can do something like, there's a type parameter t, and you can instantiate t. Wow, that's... I'm not a Microsoft guy, but if it wouldn't have been Microsoft, I would be a C# developer, I guess. So with this magic here, they somehow under the hood have this type reference, whatever thing, and somehow they magically can preserve the type information at runtime. And therefore, it's possible that he knows there is a response entity of type list of type account, because usually a compiler would just throw it away and then it would be lost. And there's another nice thing. Reify generics with inline functions. I will show it to you in a minute. So I just say empty list. He doesn't know what type, so I have to help him. So the type inference thing is not as good as, for example, Haskell. Haskell is like the thing, and Kotlin is like good enough for the average developer. And I think that's the point. Scala is perfect. Yes, it's like amazing. It can do everything. And that's too much. Who get it? No one gets it. So Kotlin is good enough, and that's like I think that the reason why it is potentially the next successor, because it's not too good, it's good enough. I still get it, so that means something. So I'm talking too much, sorry. Do I bore you? Should I talk less about stupid stuff and more focus on coding? So this should be, yes. There is something weird, cannot deserialize. Why? Why? Oh yeah, he tries to, okay, I have had a discussion. He's complaining about something, saying he cannot deserialize the thing he got back to an array list, because what is he getting back? He's getting back a 404 with this Spring default object, and now he tries to, marshal, unmarshal, I always confused with that. So he tries to somehow get this Spring arrow, transfers it to a account, list of account, and they can't do that. So that's actually a bad thing. So in our team, we agreed we never ever use this functionality. We always expect a string, check for the status code, and only if the status code is okay, then we try to marshal it, or unmarshal it, to our POJO. So we never ever make use of this feature. Yeah, I will use it here. Because it's nice, but when you want to be really precise, and this error message, it doesn't tell me anything, so I have to debug my test. So we have another REST controller here. And we say it shall listen on /accounts. And all the methods in here, they will produce an application JSON. So let's give it a name. Account controller. Let's get some space here. I love this shortcut. So what do we need? It shall return get accounts. We do it the nice way. Empty list of accounts. Done. So if I run this again, it shall be green. So the moment it's green, I will refactor this, because I don't like this line here. That's just too much noise. I just want to say, please, Mr. HTTP client, execute a GET request on this path with this type. So I want to get rid of this guy here, this URI create. Why don't you just expect a string? URI, what is URI? I usually deal with paths. So that's green. So I'm going to create my own function on this guy here. So I will say, on test REST template, there's a new function. Let's call it exchange get. And it should get a string, a path. And actually, it's just a shortcut to the existing exchange thing here. I just copy and paste this one in here. So that should be the path. Now he complains. He needs some type. If you go in here, there is something like reified, whatever that magic is. And so it's like, OK, we pass in a t. That's usually how I work. So I try something, doesn't work, try something, suddenly it works, and I'm proud of myself. So it should not be just T, but it should be at least any. Any is the exact same thing as object in Java. So there seems to be something else than object in Kotlin. Yes, and there's something like nothing. So it cannot be used as a reified type parameter, and that's magic. Reified is magic to somehow get types, generics at runtime to keep them alive. And then he tells me it's only possible for inline functions, whatever. So and suddenly it works. Yeah, I get paid very well at bank, you know. So the thing is, he's inlining, like from, I guess, C or C++. That thing here will be from the compiler put in here, like really syntactically, he will just blaps do a substitution in here. And therefore, he somehow knows that T and, okay, no, I don't know. I don't want to sell you anything, I'm just being honest. And so, that looks much nicer. It's called exchange because I want to stick to that exchange here. I would have called it differently, but just me. REST exchange, get back a list of account on that path. Actually, I want to have this one here at the back. Anyways. So when refactoring is done, we run the test again in order to verify we haven't broken anything, right? So that's nice. So let's introduce some service layer, because we always do this controller service persistence layer thing, because it is that way. It's going to be a service. It's an account service. And that's it. Spring Boot will just, via components, can pick that guy up. And you can just go here to your controller. And this is what you were just saying, that I can go over here and say there's a private value service. Oh, he's so nice. Why does he know that? Why possibly? I just say ESER and he knows I want to have the account service. I mean, that's amazing. They were talking about possibilities of AI in IDEs and what they then could do, like track your behavior and then somehow know what you want to do, and like there's a lot of potential. Anyway, so this can be a value because it's a constructor injection, and I don't have to annotative inject it or auto-wired or there's something that just works. So now I can delegate to him and say get accounts and do the same thing in here. I think I won't be able to finish the whole thing. Let's still give it a try. So this will still work. Shall we do some persistence? I prepared get a single account and to post. I didn't prepare put and delete because it's just the same thing over and over again. And there's like all this fancy test thing, but I think I will just skip that one. Okay? Yeah, so let's head over to persistence layer. In good old times, I've written it with JDBC and everything was handcrafted. Like that was software craftsmanship. I wrote my SQL statements by hand, and I missed that exclamation mark, and it went to production in a bank. I was like 22, and I fucked it up. Yeah, anyways. So we need some new dependencies here. Since then, I don't do this exclamation mark Boolean value. I always do this Boolean value equals false, because I'm just too afraid to miss that exclamation mark. Living in the past, living in fear. So we need the starter data JPay. Along with it, there comes a lot of magic. You don't know, you don't want to know, and that's good. Because I want to deal with the real problems. I don't want to deal with computers or memory or databases. This is annoying. Databases annoy me. Actually, I don't think I need to specify the version. Somehow we will like reproducible builds without specifying the version number. Yeah, of course, from the Spring Boot stuff here, I guess I'm really afraid of saying something stupid now. One of those two guys will automatically configure the Gradle build and provide you with the proper version of Spring Boot based on this version here somehow. so you don't need to specify versions in here. There's like actually not even a single version number here. That creeps me out. I think that's good. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old. So we are going to create our own persistence thing here. So we've got our entity, and that's kind of our convention in our team. We always create a like representation of the domain object and the representation for the JPA persistence layer. We don't introduce a third Gesundheit bless you for the API layer, because usually domain and API objects are basically the same. Sometimes the JPA stuff requires us to do nasty stuff, and we don't have that nasty stuff in our actual logic. So therefore, we only separate between those two guys. So I could go to the account and copy those guys here. And this one I don't like. I'm going to create a new enum, which is identically the very same thing as the original enum. Yes, that seems to be a not smart thing to do, but experience has proven that this is a good thing to do, because at some stage maybe someone wants to rename that guy, and then it needs to be also changed in the database, and then I rather have it like going out of sync. And you will see the consequence of doing this thing here. There's a lot of more mapping, but it gives me more, I don't know, safety, feeling of that will actually work when you're going to refactor something. Comes with a lot of additional effort though. So this guy here is an ID. ID, yes, thank you, and it's a generated value. Generated value, yes, so much magic. And now comes some Spring magic. There is a repository, and it's just an interface. It's an account repository, and it inherits from a JPA repository. And it will deal with account JPAs, and the ID is of type long. And that's it. Basically, that's it. Because behind the scenes, you got all these nice things, and everything just works out of the box. So we want to test this first. Oh, fuck, we already have written the code. I don't know how to do this test first, so I will just do test after. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, come on. Don't be religious about methods, how to do it. It's good enough. So we again need our Spring runner here. And now we are not creating a Spring Boot test, because we are OK with only a JPA test. And he will do these transactions, so for each test method, the state will be clean, wiped out. Which is not true for a Spring Boot test. When you do Spring Boot tests and you do manipulate something in a database, you know, the next test will see the changes from the previous test. And therefore, you somehow need to reset the database. And that's not easy. That's really like science to do that. And usually what I do is, in small projects, I just tear down the whole application context and start it up again. And that takes like just way too long, but that works for every database implementation. We do this handcrafted and whatever. There are like a dozen of Stack Overflow answers to that. And it's strange that that doesn't work out of the box. I don't know why. Does anyone know why it's not that easy, doable to just? What if I have, do they support nested transaction? But because what if in my service logic I've got already transactions and I commit those transactions, it should like.
Usually does it, you say transaction and default state is rollback, and then after every test it rolls back the transaction.
I just put a transaction on my test class? Test method, on each test method?
No, not on the test class.
On test class, and that's enough? That's nice. Thank you. You just saved me a lot of time. I will verify that this actually works what I wanted to do. So, because you shall not believe whatever I say, you should rather verify it yourself. That's very important. I think some Buddha guy said that, so that's really great. Never ever believe anything from anyone. So instead of our test REST service, we now have our test entity manager. And of course, we want to test our repository, so we just call it repo. People are getting nervous. I can hear that. We are done in a couple of minutes. So a new test, give them an account. I don't care. we save something. Let's save account JPA, and now I'm faced with a lot of stuff, you know, like 0 because it's the default balance, I don't know, and the type is, actually I honestly don't care, and this pollutes my test code now. So what I want to do is I rather do something like static thing, like test instance. Oh, static is bad. That's not possible. But you know, like what I can do is I create an extension function, and it should return something. Still, this doesn't work because I first need to instantiate it, and then it's visible. Because the extension function works on an instance rather than a class. We are object instance oriented rather than class oriented, and that's like passing classes. And I really don't like Spring because it's doing all this configuration. Sorry, but really that annoys me. That's like you pass class references, and if you use juice, who of you has used juice before? They are passing instances, and you can do a lot of nice things with that. That's like really object oriented, and passing class references. Anyways, that's just my personal opinion. So this won't work. I want to have it like static here. So there is a nice hack. There's something like a companion object. Object like in Scala object that's like a singleton built in into the language, like a proper singleton, really hardened singleton. And companion object or object, the concept of an object allows you to do something like static. So they decided not to have something like static in the language, and then they saw, yeah, let's be pragmatic. It's dangerous. Static mutable state. Oh, God. Never ever do that. But still, they allowed you to do it. And now I can add an extension function on this companion, and suddenly this works. So that's nice. That's practical. Yeah, so it's from a design perspective, it's not nice, but you know, like I need to earn money. I need to get the things done. So I just don't care which, just give me any test instance. So that's the saved one. And now if I do a repo, find all, whatever you want to call it, response or result, whatever. So assert that the result contains exactly that saved guy. So this should be enough. I don't want to test that the Spring guys do their job because they have a test suite and they do their job very good. So I trust them. I don't trust my own configuration and stuff, and so. So now there is one final thing which is getting interesting. And now I want to wire this whole JPA stuff into my service. So I'm going here to say, I've got my repo, and get account should just say find all. Oh, he doesn't complain. That's why. If we go in here, he doesn't complain either. Why? Now he complains. So type inference. They call it the kid in the candy shop. Oh, that's so many nice things. Oh, that's so cool. I want to have this, that. There's so many nice language features out there. I just pick all of them because they're so nice, because I'm a developer and I'm good, because I know that I'm good, you know, like I'm better than everyone else. So therefore, I get this, and I will make it as complicated as possible just to show off that how good I am. Like fuck. Yeah, that's a bad thing. With great power comes great responsibility to use those features, but only if they make sense, and just, you know, like keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple and stupid, or whatever you want to call it. So sometimes tab inference can be a nice thing, but it can be like very dangerous too. So sometimes it makes sense to be very explicit about what you want to do, although the compiler can infer it for you. So now there's an error. So now I need to functional. Kotlin is not only object-oriented, but also functional, because functions are top-level citizens, whatever that means. Basically, it's just functions can be passed as arguments and returned as results. That's kind of it. And I want to map each of those account JPAs to an ordinary account. So create me an extension function. Yes, thank you. That's so nice that you can do that to me. So now that's the annoying thing. OK, I will just not use parameter names here. So he will complain that, okay, here comes the thing. Account type JPA. I've decided to split those two things. So I need to do here again account type. Maybe we have investigated whether there are some libraries, bean libraries, which can take over this really annoying thing. But I don't know. So when is the new switch? It's something like Haskell's pattern matching, but not that good. And that's a good thing that it's not that good, because no one would get it like Scala. I shall not say bad words about Scala. We are tolerant, we believe in different gods, and that's good. Don't let us fight about that, rather celebrate. So yeah, that's like transformation from JPA layer to the domain API, whatever you want to call it, POJO. The nice thing here is those transformations, they reside in the service layer. So the JPA layer doesn't know anything about the domain layer, so the regular account thing here, and the account thing doesn't know anything about the JPA layer, but still on the service layer they're married. Because on the service layer I afterwards add functionality to those things. That's nice. I don't know how about you, but when I saw this the first time I was like, oh yeah, that's really. So let's see if our test runs. I didn't run the test, like I changed so much and I didn't run them. It's like, so, fuck. Maybe you should do a. I don't even know where this is located. Okay, fuck it. So one final thing. Yeah, this runs through. I want to write a test which actually first get accounts, then return my account, whatever. So save an account. I say saved account and save my account. So there's a little bit of consistency in here. And what will I do here? I'm going to use the entity manager, yes. Because I don't want to use my repo. Or should I use my repo? I don't know. Let's use the entity manager. And there is an account JPA.test instance. Oh, it's available here too. That's so nice because it's here, it's not private, and it's test code, and that's fine enough. It will persist that guy here. And he should also return it because I want to work with it later on. No, it's not. Why? It's not nullable. And it doesn't. So the body should contain exactly my saved account. Right? Who's saying yes? Who says no? Who doesn't want to say anything because he's afraid of being wrong? Yes. Yeah, it's JPA, that's wrong. Actually, I wanted to have the domain thing. My yoga teacher once said, the ones who don't fall off, they have lost. It's about falling, it's about making errors, it's about making a fool out of yourself, otherwise it won't develop. You always should say, just guess, then you're wrong, so what? I will not blame you. You said it wrong. Everyone looks at him. Yeah, that's nice, he was wrong. He got the possibility to evolve. We're just afraid of say something, so therefore we are stuck on our level. Anyways, he should transfer himself to an account. Oh, why isn't that possible? Yeah, because there is no extension function yet. So actually in my service layer, if I would have implemented the creation, the post thing, I would have also had here this in the other direction, and I will make them open now because or what is it called? Visible for testing. No, isn't it? How is it? Test visible for testing. Why isn't it visible for testing? Oh. You know that. You don't do that. So to account JPA and monkey. I'm a coding monkey. So, and usually there are a lot of mistakes here required. What I'm doing wrong here? Yeah, thank you. He's paying attention. I like that. So, I want to have to, fuck, I actually didn't need that. I just would have needed to make it visible. Okay. Anyways, homework. And so now, I hope this will just crap out. And then I'm done. Christoph? Where's Christoph? Yeah. Usually I always like overdo it, and that's my big. Okay, what's going on here? He says, okay, I didn't expect this one here. He says he can't find, actually, yeah, IntelliJ Ultimate. That's so nice. They should bring it to the community edition. He knows about the whole Spring application context, and therefore he actually, why does he let me run the application if he knows it will crap out? He's a sadist. So I will just put my repo in here and say repo.save and run it again. So yes, tools are great if you pay attention to them and listen to them what they are telling you. So, or you like to suffer like me and waste some time and get more money. Like when I'm really pissed with my work, I go to the toilet with my phone, at least half an hour. So what's going on here? Why won't you work? He tries to, Is this the error? Yes, this is the error I was expecting. So, no default constructor found for my JPA class. No default constructor. Yeah, I don't want to have a default constructor. Go to hell. Because if I would, like, you can add a new constructor here which takes no arguments because this whole Hibernate JPA magic requires to have this zero arg constructor because that afterwards he magically sets fields which are final. No, you don't do that, and that's black magic. This is the consequence of using black magic. Like you have seen Harry Potter, you don't do black magic. They will always. So, but the good thing is there are hacks to that hack. Yeah, it's really like this is how we work nowadays. Make money. So what you do, and I have to look at my cheat sheet, there is not only the all classes are open. Okay, this hack of a hack is because there is this good library called Spring, which does this proxying, subclassing magic, and with Java that's nice. With Kotlin, everything is final by default. So there is kind of, they don't fit to each other anymore. So actually, all of those Java optimized libraries, they should be rewritten or somehow changed, and they are doing that, and that's nice, to actually somehow be more compatible with Kotlin's approach, which in my opinion makes more sense. And all open, after you have done your stuff and the compiler sees, oh, there's this all open plugin, I will just tear apart all your classes and make it open. And because at runtime I don't care anymore. So that's fine for me, just do your stuff and make everything crappy again and do your nullability stuff, get rid of them, and I don't care. And do the no arg thing here. So for some classes you annotate with some special annotations, just create a constructor with no arguments under the hood. So although there's this constructor during compile time which initializes all your fields, so they're not nullable. During runtime, they are all nullable. Weird. Yeah, we are going to do that now. So there's the Kotlin JPA library, which uses the Kotlin noarg, which implicitly configures it with the JPA annotations. And anyway, you don't understand that. You should not understand that, because that's just very like, okay, if you run this again, it should work. And it cost me like half an hour to actually figure out what's going on. So I did this Gradle refresh and clean, and actually I removed the module, created a new project, and suddenly it worked. And I was like, oh no, that's not possible. See, he's still crapping out because of the very same reason. So rebuild project. Have you tried turning it off and on again? No, I didn't. And there's even this clear cache somewhere. I like Apple, they have this search, and you just say cache, and he will just look through all, and then he will like, plop, over here. So cool. And it's floating. Either I'm at the toilet or I'm looking at those things. Wow. So, if I run the test again, yeah, the cache I figured out I should use because I was trying this Kotlin Gradle thing, and it told me if I do the invalidated cache, then it works. It didn't work for me. I'm giving up. Back to Groovy. Yikes. So it's green. Oh, there's something. Oh, there's something. Oh, I hate this. But you know, who is that? Is that Spring? Who is doing that? I think that's Spring. You see what Spring is doing? He says, you are a shitty developer. But I will tell you how to get a better developer. So there is this annoying warning message, and I really hate warnings. I'm pedantic. I'm kind of autist. I think most of us are, right? That's good. Something like this, and set it to false. I don't know what it does. I will just turn it off. It makes something with MVC and keep a JPA transaction while he's rendering. I don't know. I just want to get rid of the warning message because otherwise, what's it called? Zero blah blah policy. You know, like you have Sonar and Checkstyle and PMD, and what do they create? Those nasty things which say your code is crappy, and those things they say they should always stay 0. In my opinion, warning should always stay on 0, and therefore I'm pedantic about those things. In my opinion. So it's green. All the log output is green. Any questions? Any comments? Have I been too rude, too slow, too fast?
Do you use Kotlin in production?
Yes, yes. 2 years, I guess. So parts of the George whole thing is written in Kotlin. The Android developers are using Kotlin too. And there is some resistance. So for example, operations, there was this, I don't know, some crash and net banking was not available, so George was not available, and it was like dramatically that it's not available because we are immediately in Meteor. And operations said, yeah, it's because you're using Kotlin and not Java. We introduced Kotlin like 2 years ago. It was always stable. Now someone actually was something with network firewalls configuration, but it's like the very first thing what companies do is you're using something which is not standard. And then they will blame you. And then you have to somehow prove that it's not because of that. So that's kind of our problem. But for us, it had proven it's rock solid. Yeah. There are, did you know that because of this paradigm shift, those little nice things like validation, and you have to do this get colon thing because this annotation when you have properties, it will be put on something the validation framework doesn't know, and it costs us a lot of time. And there's all the time those things, those mismatches with Java and Kotlin and the libraries. This is the only disadvantage I see for us.
Do you still have a big Java code base?
Yes, yes.
To be compatible somehow.
That's one of the big advantages of Kotlin. I had a look at a lot of other languages on the JVM because I was desperate because my old lady, she was nice, but she wasn't like, not anymore. I was looking outside. And those new languages, they were not interoperable with Java. And it's like, you can't do that. You can't throw away all your code. You can't just start from scratch. Ceylon, for example, I love the language from this JBoss guy. But, you know, start everything from scratch. No, like you've got your huge code base, and you can't convince business to just rewrite everything because I want to use Kotlin because it's nice. So what, is there any value to it? No, it's nice. I've tried that, I failed. So it's possible to do a soft migration. You have Java and Kotlin, even if you like it, in the same source main Java directory. They'll just live side by side. You can call Java Kotlin, Kotlin Java. And it's really, really nice. There were talks at the conference where how you can optimize even more your Kotlin code and that it really looks nice from the Java world. You have to do something additional. Yes, it doesn't come free. The thing what comes for free doesn't look that nice. But still, I haven't seen any issues with Kotlin and Java living side by side in the very same project, which allows you a smooth migration. And if you create a new class, write in Kotlin. If you touch an old class, maybe rewrite in Kotlin, maybe not. It's up to you. And use all the libraries out there. And I think that's the big selling point for Kotlin. Mm-hmm. Bitte. Yeah. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you do this in Kotlin, this function will not be usable in Java, am I right?
It will be visible, actually, I don't know if this will work. What is your name? Hubert. So that's Hubert. And that's me. And I've got my fanciness here. needs to be 42, or let's do it even more lead thing. So from Kotlin, I can just say fancy, right? And you're asking, what about my good old Java? You know, Hubert, you're a little bit older than me, and you still write Java. Sorry, no offense. So what is this string, right? And then you do this, and then you do semicolon. Yeah. It's really, really a hard time when you switch Java and Kotlin forth and back all the time. You get confused. So you can't do fancy here. What you can do is, that thing here is a top-level function. It's not surrounded, not in context of a class. It will have a context, a class, it will be surrounded by a class by the compiler. So this file is called model, and therefore some Kotlin compiler will generate a model KT class for you. You can even control that behavior via some annotation. I don't know, I never ever used that. So there will be a model KT class generated for you, and it will have the fancy function as a common util class. Instead of string.foo, you do util.foo string. So that's exactly the way it looks like in Java. So it is possible, but it's not as nice because there are no extension functions in Java. But still, it's always like you can do from one to the other and other to the one direction. So I think we're done. Thank you for your attention. I hope you get an idea of what Kotlin is, of Spring Boot is, and it's really nice. You should give it a try. It's very easy to set up. It's just like do it and have fun, and you will never, I assure you, will never want to go back to Java anymore. So don't do it, or just go fully. Thank you so much.
Alles klar, wir haben ein bisschen überzogen, das heißt, ich würde sagen, wir machen um 10 noch auf, weil dann kann man noch ein bisschen was essen. Und nicht vergessen, die das One-Ticket gewinnen wollen, 2 Stück haben wir.